Hello YouTube! Greetings from the LazyEyebrowReviewer. It's a review of Combiner Wars Hotspot, the sixth and final member of the Defense crew. This guy is a Voyager-sized fire truck that ties the whole thing together. Literally. That makes the team what it is, because without this guy, all we got are a bunch of limbs. And that won't do. Won't do at all. So let's look at this guy. Hotspot is based on a Rosenhauer Panther, kinda like this guy was. Remember him? I don't wish to, but, he exists. Well, fast forward and we get this guy, and while I do like the shape he turns into, goodness is he ever incredibly small. Size aside though, this is a really great looking fire truck, which again has toy hacks applied to it. This adds a bunch of little details to the truck that I kind of wish were applied in the first place, like Takara's version, with its metallic vent plates and compartments and the like. The rims are painted silver, that's my touch, as well as the guns. They have had bronze and silver applied, although it could do for a recoat because a lot of the paint is chipped away. I play with this thing a lot, and that's what you get for using markers, so yeah, my bad. What I've done is bronze tipped the nozzle, and silver detailed the tube that wraps around the barrel. After I did that, though, these guns can side mount here, or attach themselves to the bucket for extra firefighting power. Some think this looks a little silly, but I'm not one of them. I kinda like the idea of having extra firefighting power up in the bucket. Something this fire truck also has is vehicle mode articulation, which is awesome. This includes a spinning and lifting ladder, as well as a pointable bucket. All this articulation is perfect for those firefighting missions that require that extra power. Autobots, do you smell something, bro? Now, I don't have a GDO hotspot. I saw it in stores, and at the time, barely knew who hotspot was, but I knew enough to know he was a combiner, and GDO hotspot didn't combine, so I said, pass. I do, however, have Solar Storm Propel, since we're going to compare it to that figure. And already I wish I didn't skip the GDO. Just look at the size difference. That's immense. Like, these two vehicles should size up in the real world scale, but the GDO and Furple mold just dwarfs the Voyager Combiner. And quite frankly, so does a bunch of other Voyager figures. Except Bumblebee, because, everything scales with MPB. Other Defensor figures, though, they don't even scale well. As covered in the last review, MP22 Spike scales pretty well with First Aid. He makes Hotspot, though, seem like a ride at Miniature World. It's just a little silly. And that's not even a problem with GDO and Furple, which actually is the appropriate size difference between cars and fire trucks. Moving on to robot mode, where he actually does quite a bit better. Swing around the ladder on its double hinge, peg the bucket into the sides of the ladder base, and rotate the whole thing around. Split the legs, extend them around on their hinge, flip up the cab, and spin the legs 180 degrees. It's hard to explain, and hard to show off too, but there's a double-hinged piece that needs positioned at a perpendicular angle to the leg joint and then clicked in. If it doesn't click, you're doing it wrong, and the legs get all floppy. People complained it didn't have this feature when Onslaught did, but then we all found out that we were just doing it wrong, so do it right, and you won't even have that issue. Separate and bring down the shoulders, swing around the backpack so it doesn't stick up on the back, rotate the shoulders forward, bring down the arms, open the chest plate, rotate the head, and put the chest plate back into position. And Hotspot. Hotspot actually looks pretty dang amazing. Even more so than the Takara release. He's got all these red and white chevrons going on all over the place that makes him look rather interesting to look at. Busy, if you will, but not too busy. I like the look and think it suits not only the character, but helps bring the team's color scheme together. And the water nozzles also return as two rifles. They don't look half bad this way, and make things like holding Frankenseeker at gunpoint look rather simple to do. As far as kibble, the latter makes an appearance, although I do rather enjoy that it keeps itself contained as a solid unit, compact, out of the way, and actually provides extra stability for standing and whatnot, because this guy sure is posable. To help make that posable, we have a swivel head that has a little bit of downward movement, ratcheted shoulders with a separate joint for outward arm movement, a bicep swivel, and an elbow bend. Waist doesn't rotate for any discernible reason other than probably parts count. Thighs are ratcheted for forward, backward, and outward movement. Knees that bend past 90, but not quite 180 unless mistransformed, and a thigh swivel. So what can be done about this? Well, how about a dramatic knee-sliding entrance into a rock concert? Superhero pose, yeah! Or giving the knee of justice to a character I'm convinced at this point will never officially be in Smash. How sad. For size comparison, GDO and Furple, I think it's incredible how two differently sized fire trucks can both end up being roughly the same size when it comes to bot mode. This just makes me really wish I bought one and when it came out even more. I'm an idiot with no ability to foretell the future of my collection. Anyway, G1 Prime Magnus, MP Ratchet, Deluxe Wheeljack, and Deluxe Protectobot. So that's Hotspot. A fantastic figure for both robot and vehicle, however much I wish vehicle mode ended up a bit bigger. So now on to the mode that literally ties the team together. Fold the arms up, retract the head into the chest, on the back, rotate the ladder assembly around, open the ladder base up and peg it into the shoulders, spread the legs to allow for clearance, and then unfold the ladder around and through the legs. Bend the ladder in half and fold it up the back, and then peg the bucket into the neck cavity. Open up the bucket, fold over the top of the head, and spin the head around. Finally, rotate the legs outward and fold them back, and here we have the Defensor torso. To be perfectly honest, this looks amazing. I love how the tower base became the chest plate. It's an elegant design for sure. The head looks great, and even on the back we have the ladder. Normally, someone would say this is kibble, but I like to think of it as an homage to the G1 toy, while also being designed to absolutely hinder none of the articulation of the Gestalt this will become. Basically, I think it's an excellently engineered figure for all three modes, and most triple changers we see have to have one mode suffer. This is seen a lot in the Combiner Wars Motormaster, but not so for the fire truck, or especially not the plane molds. It's pretty fantastic. So that's my review for Combiner Wars Hotspot. Next week we round this figure off and finally cover the big boy himself. This has been the Lazy Eyebrow Reviewer.